360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna Guinois, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? On behalf of Michaela Vidal and myself, we're so glad that you're here. My goodness gracious, what a wonderful time it is to get together and talk about living healthy and living longer, 40 and above. I'm the one that qualifies for 40 and above. She's not even close to 40. But today, Michaela, you're going to talk about how important it is for even young people to, eat healthy and do things healthy and all that. And it's very important because of the fact that, if you start eating poorly at a young age, and you keep those habits up like I did when you're in your 50s and you eat like you did in your 20s and your 30s, as I said yesterday, it doesn't work too well. And Michaela, I sent you that code that you need there in the private chat. That's what I was pointing at you can go ahead and enter that in case, she's got one of those problems at home. She's got a little dog named Ash. And she just found out that,
problem.
Yeah, a little dog, but a big problem. And he chewed up her charger. So we're doing plan B here in case her battery doesn't last long enough for the TV show. We hope it will. But anyway, that's what's called life. Michaela, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. And tired, huh? I hear you. Because you got a few kids, don't you?
Only a handful.
Only a handful, yeah. Between her and Ruben, they got a total of 6 kids. That is, that's more than a handful. That's a bunch. Well, let me ask you as a young mom, first of all, when it comes to feeding your kids healthy, I know that's a concern for all young mothers out there with their children, and starting from newborns all the way up, I know some mothers they prefer the mother's milk as opposed to the bottle stuff. But what are some of the things that you've learned, being a mother, and some of the things that you do or to try and, get them off to a good, healthy start? And also, how about little mom taking care of herself? Because, mothers sometimes sacrifice themselves to take care of their kids on all fronts. And you can just share with the audience anything that you'd like there.
Yeah, so I'll start with a few things that I've learned.
Okay.
I've learned that, kids are really picky. But I am also a firm believer that you'll learn that kids, I don't want to say any bad words, but the little a-holes, they try to test their limits. They really do. They really do. And they know they try to get the parent. So if you pay attention, sometimes some days you pick the battle, but every kid has different personalities. Some of mine are willing to try things. Some of mine are like, no, I'm not touching that. I don't want it. But you have to stand stern. That's one thing I've learned. If you stand stern, they'll eventually try it. Kids and veggies, sometimes fruits, but mainly veggies, it's typical. Kids don't want to eat veggies. They think they're gross. Anything green, it's like, ew, I'm not touching it. So, but I promise you, half the time they've never even tried it. They will just say they just don't want to eat it. But if you at least make them try it, that's what I try to do, is at least be like, you need to eat a few bites, just try it out. If they still don't like it, it is what it is. You're not going to like everything. As an adult, you don't like everything, so you can't really force them to eat everything or expect them to like everything. But if they don't like, for instance, some of mine don't like carrots, but they'll eat celery. Kind of find what they do and don't like, and, go from there. They don't have to eat every single veggie in the book. I promise you. I don't know if it's scientifically proven, but I always tell my kids that their taste buds are going to change. And they say it too. Like one day they won't like something else and they'll be like, "Oh, mommy, my taste buds changed and now I liked it." So, I mean,
Hey,
as long as
if it works.
I don't know if it's scientifically proven, but I mean, it's happened to me before. Like things I didn't like when I was younger, I like now. So maybe there is some science behind it. But that's like the biggest thing that I've, learned, that you have to put your foot down. Don't let them try to test you, because if you give in to them and you're like, that's fine, you don't have to eat it, then they're going to learn, okay, well, I don't even have to try it. That's like the biggest thing I've learned.
We has got a message from Donna Guinois, and I had to laugh when I read that message, ladies and gentlemen, because you see it, okay, and you know what I'm laughing at, don't you?
And it's true too.
Yeah, I'm laughing at too, don't you? That little video you did when you took the celery and made it look like, yeah, it was cute. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty neat. And did they eat the celery later, or the caterpillars, or?
They did.
They did?
If you make eating fun, they're more likely to eat it. And that's really big.
Yeah.
We've also made watermelon pizza. One of mine likes watermelon, some days doesn't. So she didn't, if she doesn't want it, she's not going to eat it. But if you make it fun, they're more prone to eat it instead of just slobbing it on a plate. And if they don't feel forced to eat it, kids don't like to they like to feel like they're in control of things. If you've ever had a little toddler, you would know. But they like to feel like they're in control. So if you make it fun, they're more prone to eat it. They are.
Yeah, because you've done several little videos, and I'm on TikTok, but I don't do videos on TikTok. The only reason why I'm on there is because I've got 2 granddaughters on there, and I like to see their videos. But you made a video taking a celery there, and I don't know what all you put in it, but it was a cute look like a little caterpillar. But having kids participate in that, making it, and it being fun, like you said, that's a good way of getting them to like things. And it's true, because growing up, I mean, mothers love the TV show Popeye. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, boop, boop, and all that. Back in the 50s, because, Brutus was the big bully. And Popeye, he'd get a can of spinach and suck it down, gulp it down, all that. And all of a sudden he's powerful, and he beats up, Brutus. And so all of us kids, man, we got to have some spinach. And mom says, okay, sure. It's a win-win situation for our mothers and for us. It was one of them psychedelic things. We thought we were going to be big, strong, and good looking. And obviously, by looking at me, it didn't work. But it was fun in the process, you might say. Yesterday, I forgot to mention something. I talked about in losing weight and diet and all that, how I did the Atkins diet. And what happened was that the thing that made me say, whoa, I got to do something here. I was taking these herbs and stuff like that. And I was eating in my 50s like I was in my 20s and 30s, and that does not work. Even though I'm taking these herbs, the mentality, and I had studied the world of herbs for about 10 years. Then one day it just smacked me upside the head like, where is your brain? Because your body is a processing center. It's not a recycling center. I'm thinking, well, I'll eat all this stuff I want. And I'll put these herbs in there and I'll be good to go. Well, that didn't work. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, my cholesterol had climbed to 266. I've been trying to get it down. It just kept inching up. So that's when I, tried something, and we just picked the Atkins diet just out of, I don't know how we did it, but that's what we chose. And I'm not saying the Atkins diet is good for everybody, because it isn't, but find a diet that works for you. That's my message. So anyway, basically my biggest change was that I cut out my noon meal from sandwiches or hamburgers or whatever to salads. And was never a big fan of salads, so that I had to get creative. I had to put the walnuts in there and apples and things like that to make it more palatable to me. So that being said, what happened was I lost body weight around my belly. And when I lost my belly fat, my cholesterol started coming down and down and down. It dropped down. I don't remember how long it took. It was about, 2 or 3 months. It wasn't long, but I dropped it down to 173 without medication. The last time I had it checked, I think I was up to 178 or 179, because just between me and you, don't tell nobody I said this, I fudge and I, get some chocolate and stuff like that, but I mean, you got to treat yourself once in a while, But my point being, we're going to have Dr. George Grant on tomorrow. And I'm telling you, let me put his website up, the Academy of Wellness. Let me put that up there right quick, if I may, because there's one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard in my life. There was a guy that was 79 years of age. This is many years ago. He came to Dr. George Grant. He was eat up with cancer. He was sent home for hospice. Okay? I think it was either this year or last year, within the last couple of years anyway. Dr. Grant decided and became inspired to write a book called 101 Ways to Live to be 101. The inspiration came from this man who was, when he first met him, was 79. I forget how many different pills and medications on his, I think it was in the 20s. He'll talk about that tomorrow. But the guy is still alive. He's not on any kind of medication. He had turned 101. And he was sent home, ladies and gentlemen, to hospice when he first met Dr. George Grant, the Academy of Wellness. And I've worked with Dr. George Grant on a couple of things. He is he's got 3 doctorate degrees. He's worked with the CDC here in the United States. He's worked with the Canadian Board of Health up there in Canada. He is a subject matter expert. And like I said on a previous broadcast, when he speaks, doctors do like this. They pay attention. Kind of like the old E.F. Hutton for you. Some of you older folks, you younger folks won't know what it is. But they used to have commercials on TV when E.F. Hutton talks, and everybody would go. And it became a fad, jokes would come around the office. Hey, when the boss speaks, and everybody go like that. It just became a silly fad, And it's funny how we find humor in everything. It brings another commercial to mind. Was it a Wendy's commercial? I think it was. Clara, whatever the name. Some of you folks that's got gray hair on the roof, you'll remember that. And her thing was, this is back in the 80s. She's an older lady. She looked at this little hamburger. And of course, there's a commercial for Wendy's. And of course, she's our competitors and looks at the little hamburger. She says, "Where's the beef?" And that phrase, "Where's the beef?" That just went viral. It went viral before we had the internet. I'll put it to you like that. Everybody was joking around, Somebody hand you a report and someone look at it, "Well, where's the beef?" That's just the way it was. But,
we're going to start using that.
Yeah. One of the things I came across is that, and let me pull up this website here. I don't want to misquote this, or it is a macrotrends.net, U.S. life expectancy from 1950 to 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, this chart, this slant just keeps going up and up and up and up. And their projections right now, currently, they're at 78.99, and this is for both sexes. I mean, I know men are supposed to check out before ladies and all that, but back in, let's see, let's go back to 2000. There we go, 76.75. So make no mistake about it. The life expectancies for individuals around the world is increasing. So therefore, it's really important for you to take care of your health. We say life begins at 40, and it does in many ways. In fact, I forget where I heard it at. You may have heard it. I'm not sure, but therefore, a short period of time is going around that 60 is the new 40. So since I was in my 60s when I heard it, and I says, that sounds all right to me. I can live with that, you know. I just got 20
Right.
years right there, you know, in that comment. But it's very important. And of course, you know, you being a young mother, you know, and nutrition and all that, uh,
Mhm.
it's very important to get your kids well fed, because having good nutrition and having good rest, you want to train them now for
Oh
good
yeah.
eating habits. Because myself, for example, I'm retired military, 31 years. I'm a retired Master Sergeant in the United States Army. That's an E8 grade. I've also got Social Security, but I do not want to be dependent on anybody else to determine whether or not I've got enough money to pay my bills or to buy some biscuits and some butter beans, if you get my drift. I want
Mhm.
to take charge of my own life. I want to take charge of my health. And there's a lot of people who got hurt during 2020. People lost their jobs. Right now, a lot of people are living off this free money that they're getting, and businesses are going to be closing. Once that free money runs out, they're going to try to go out and find a job. Guess what? If the business is not there, no job, right?
Right.
I mean, this is not hard. Therefore, we want to be able to share with you a free gift that can help you if you're in a home, if you got a home based business, if you're wanting to start a home based business, or whatever you want to do. Now, this is a freebie. When I say free, I mean FREE, free. And that is the 6 minute webinar. You can go to that website, you can download it for free, and you just fill out. It's really neat because you fill out the script pile. This is a program that Dr. Don McGrath created. It's got 40 questions in it. You just answer the questions, just keep it real simple. Follow the video instruction on each one of the pages, and it'll probably take you 40 minutes to fill it out. Then when you put your email address in there and push send, it arrive. You'll get two documents in your email. One will be the questions that was asked and the answers that you gave. And the second would be your 6 minute webinar. And all you got to do then is just clean up a little verbiage, but you got something that you can actually record, because it'll help you focus and get one product, because a 6 minute webinar is for one product. If you got 5 products, you need 5 6 minute webinars, okay? And you've already got the standard there where you can make it. But to get one product from where you are in front of your clients and sound like the subject matter expert that you are, whatever you're representing, ladies and gentlemen. That's our gift to you today on Compliments of the TV Show. And to thank all you wonderful people around the world that watch us on Roku, iOS, your Apple phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Grandma's TV. We don't want to forget Grandma. But, you know, all over the world. And we really, really appreciate it. And our mission here today is just to provide good, old fashioned information and infotainment. And, you know, when I was asking Michaela, I said, we're going to be talking about 40 and up. How do you feel about that? She said, oh, I can do that. I like her confidence. I like her attitude. And, you know, because you're talking from a young mother's perspective, because setting the standard for teaching your kids the value of eating, and you got to make it fun. Could you expand on that a little bit more, please?
Mhm. So, I'll start with, I personally think as a mom, you want, obviously what's best for your kids, as a dad too. But I think my mentality of it is, as kids grow up, there's so much habits that they're going to have to form. And I don't want healthy eating to be one of them. I think,
Hmm.
you should set the foundation when they're younger so that it already is a habit. It's not something that they're
Hmm.
having to take, however long a habit is. I think it's like
Hmm.
30 days before, they got it down. Healthy living, well, healthy living, but healthy eating is so essential. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, making it fun.
Hmm.
Every kid's different. Some kids, I know with some, if you make it fun, they're more likely to eat it. Also, when you were talking about the whole Popeye story about the whole can of spinach, it
Oh yeah.
reminded me. We always tell, so the way we got to eat, and not to eat, and we got our kids to eat green beans. The way we got them to eat them is, how there's the little seeds inside. We would tell them those are like the little baby ones. So the big green bean is the mommy, and the ones inside are the little babies. And so that's how they eat their green beans. The only way we got them to eat green beans is they'll open it up, they'll eat all the little babies on the inside, and then they'll eat the
Mm.
mommy.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
like, whatever works.
That's
Um,
amazing. I would never would have thought of that.
so yes, so that's also another way. And then I also think we don't do it with every single food, but if you ever sat at a table with my kids, they're going to ask you what they're eating. So I always explain to them, ever since my kids are like babies and can't even talk, I tell them what they're eating. Um, and as they get older, I tell them what it's good for, if that makes sense. So if they're eating an avocado, it's good for your heart, So they'll always ask me, is this good for you? Is this gonna make me strong? Or is this good for my heart? So half the time, like I'm learning with them because I don't know the
Yeah.
answer, like what carrots. I know carrots is good for your eyes, and it's so funny because I explain
Mhm.
that to them. And one of mine will be like, yeah, it's so that you can see, so you can open your eyes. And I'm like, sure. However you want to
Oh,
take it.
that
But I
that
mean, making it fun. Go
oh
ahead.
yeah, that reminds me of a situation which I used to drive my poor mother insane.
I can imagine.
And yeah, because one time she was serving fish, and I really didn't like the way she prepared it. I just being a dumb kid. I mean, everything mom made, she made with hands of love. So you should be appreciative of that, and at least.
Right.
And I never made any comment about mother's cooking around my dad. I was that smart, because I knew what would
Hmm.
happen there. That turned into a train wreck on me in a hurry. But I was more or less teasing my mom. So, Mom, I don't like this
Hmm.
fish. Well, you need to eat it. It's brain food. It's good for you. Brain food? She said, yeah. I said, if this is brains food and they're so smart, how come they got caught? And oh, bless her heart. I mean, I used to, it's a wonder if she hadn't choked me. But through it all, bless her heart, she put up with me. But it's amazing how kids can come back at their parents with little smart remarks and try to show their individuality and try to impress
Oh
them
yeah.
with their knowledge. And of course, parents, as parents, we always love asking those difficult questions that there's no good answer, and watch them look down at their shoes for the answer. That now that's fun. That's fun. That's fun. And when it comes to, your diet and your exercise and all that, let me say this here. There is no one size fits all program for anything.
Mhm.
One
That's
of the
true.
things, because I studied the world of herbs for about 10 years, and one of the things that it just really gets to me, if some guru is on TV, and like one time this guy was talking about athosanthin, how great it is, da 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 da. And everybody just took it as gospel. Yes, athosanthin is good. There's no question about that. But
Hmm.
everybody just raced. I mean, online stores were out of it. It was you couldn't find it on the shelf at the local store. You couldn't find it online. This is long before COVID-19 popped up and everybody was running to the store to get toilet paper. But anyway, you know, whenever a guru says something like that, you know, do your research because what's good for the goose is never good for the entire gander.
Yep.
And it's if especially when you're supplementing your food should be your nourishment. Period. I mean that should be the foundation of your health. It really should be. Supplements are just extra. And you've got to be, if you don't know what you're doing and you're taking a combination of supplements, you could be hurting yourself more than helping yourself.
You can
The thing to
overdo
do
it.
is research that. And one thing great about the body is that when you're doing the right thing for the body lets you know it's
Yeah.
feeling good. Just like when you take medication with side effects, the body lets you know when one of the side effects pop up, hey, this was not good. I do not like this stuff. Because the body reacts to you kind of like a kid in a way. It really does. And so you got to be mindful of that. And Michaela, how is your battery holding up since Ash got a hold of I'm curious about that.
Let's see. It's at 28%. It says an
28%?
hour and 4. It says an hour
Oh, okay.
and 4
Okay.
minutes
We're
left. But I think it all depends on what you're doing on the computer. I think we
okay.
should be good.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend we've got a summit coming up, and we have the honor of our TV show hosting that summit. We're going to have speakers from all around the world. 3 days. The first day will be on education. The second day will be on corporate. And the third day will be entrepreneurs. Now we're going to be starting, it's going to be broadcast live prime time over in India at 7 p.m. So here in the States, we're going to be starting at 6:30 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So set your alarms on the West Coast, that specific time. East Coast, we start at 9:30. Now, if by chance you cannot catch the shows and you'd like to see the shows, we have the honor of broadcasting those shows right here live on our TV show, and they're going to be downloaded. They will be edited and then uploaded to our YouTube channel, which you can access anytime you want to. And our YouTube, you know the name of our YouTube channel, Michaela?
Inspirational.
Bob.
No, what is it? I don't know.
Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. That's the name of our, because she does a lot of our posting. That's why I put her on the spot.
Why did I think it was inspirational first?
I don't know. Maybe because
I was
we're
going to say
inspirational
inspirational
first.
stories.
Yeah, well, you got that right. But messages of Inspirational Stories TV show is our YouTube channel, and be sure and go there and like it. And speaking of the 6-minute the webinar that's going to be broadcasting or producing they're working to be working with the summit coming up and also E360 TV. And I need to play a quick little theme here, a little video here. We'll be right back right after this brief message. Coming August the 27th through the 29th, 2021, E360 TV and Messages of Inspirational Stories proudly presents Vanya Kusick Foundation Leadership and Communication Summit in association with the 6-minute webinar and E360 TV. Broadcasting live from E360 TV studios to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Periscope, Twitch, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live streaming. Be sure and register at the 6minutewebinar.com/communication-summit-2021-registration. I made that little video for the show, and also the registration there is over now because for the speakers. But you can go to e360tv.com and just go over to you'll see the word apps. Just click on that and there'll be a drop down. You can see it on Roku, whatever you want to, or you can catch us here live on Facebook Live, or our replays will be on our YouTube channel. But we're very excited about that because speakers from all over the world are going to be there. It's going to be broadcasted not only on local channels there. We're going to be broadcasting in Japan. And by the way, Michaela, how's your Japanese doing? Are you doing okay there in your Japanese? Practicing? Mm-hmm. Good. Practice for me too, because I'm mentally challenged when it comes to that. But also we're going to be like I say, the shows will be recorded. Most importantly, there's going to be a lot of great information there on different topics. So be sure and, see if there's, check out the speakers that's going to be there. And we'll have a list of the speakers down there and also the time that they come on, their topic. That'll be in the remarks under each show on the YouTube channel. So we're going to try to make it as user-friendly, because 3 hours is a long time and you may be interested in one or two topics. So we want to try to make that as easy as we can for you. And talking about, living longer, my goodness gracious. I'm 73 and I don't consider myself to be a senior citizen. They said it had something to do with intelligence, whatever that is. I don't know. But your buddy sometimes kind of like says, hey, I'm 73 inside of here. How come you're not getting smarter? I don't have a good answer for that, but your body has a way of communicating with you. And that's why it's very important for you, to go to your regular doctor, get a checkup. And I told the story yesterday. I'm still trying to remember I remembered it now. See, my brain is working today. In my studies, I read that the stinging nettle from the stinging nettle, can restore your hair color to its original color, even though it's gray like I was, Yeah.
You should try it.
Well,
You should try it and see if it works.
I did try, and I'm trying to tell my story. So I don't know if I took too much of it or whatever, but I had a good doctor there. He was interested in what I was doing. And he was really open-minded because he was the only medical knowledge he had was from, medical school. But natural herbs and things like that back in the 90s, that was uncharted water for him. Okay. So I could just pop in there and get my blood pressure and all that. So I'm feeling real good about myself. My hair is not turning. It's starting to turn, a little darker. Okay. So I'm diddy bopping up the steps to the second or third floor, whatever it is. And I go in there and she says, your blood pressure is a little high, Jim. I said, oh, really? That's why I just jogged up the steps. She said, okay, just sit there a minute, maybe get some water. So I got some water, sit there for a little bit. She took it 2 times. And it was like 140/90. And I'm going like, wait a minute. Because I've been at 120/68. Something's going on. But see, I would not have known that if I had not went to the doctor and had him check my blood pressure.
Right.
And I could just pop in and out anytime I wanted to. That's a rapport I have with this doctor. So I went back and did some research, and I found out that in some cases, stinging nettle, even though it will turn your hair color back to its natural color, in some cases, it can elevate the blood pressure. So that's when I decided, well, I better get off this stuff. Yeah, because there's no profit in being a good-looking corpse. I don't think I'll have to worry about that anyway. But, high blood pressure is a silent killer. So you need to address that. And that's why I'm so excited about having Dr. George Grant on tomorrow, because he is amazing. He's got this little, let me share with this, his cell phone. I've had him on the show twice. Okay. First time I had him on, he had his cell phone up there in front of the camera, and I'm thinking he's probably just looking at his cell phone while he was talking to me. This was after the show. I didn't know he did a scan on me.
That's crazy.
He scanned me with an AO scan. It's a program he has on his phone. And we were, he was in Canada. I'm here, and we're doing this over the internet. And he says, he didn't tell me he scanned me. So the second time he had me on after the show, he said, let me rescan you again. I said, rescan me? He said, yeah. And all he did was just, he just, from here up, he just hold it there for just a couple minutes. And he had me count from 1 to 10 and all that. He's got this voice thing. But what I saw, what he sent me, because he had changed some things in my life, he got me on some good vitamins by Melaleuca. And I got on this, the longevity there, the peak performance. And from that point on, that was the only thing I really changed. A lot of the reds that was over here, reds were over here, then the greens under the previous, the current, a lot of the reds had turned green. He says, "You're doing great." He says, "You're really making some wonderful changes inside your body." And I'm sitting there, and of course, I felt pretty good about that. And I said, "Well, come on, tell me more. I can handle this, you know." But my point being, he'll be willing, and you can ask Dr. George Grant. Go to his website there. I don't know if I got his website up. I got to put my glasses on. Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
I saw George's website, academyofwellness.com, and you can download a wellness thing there. Also, you can ask him for an AO scan. Tell him you heard about it on a TV show. I know he'll give you a discount. I think it'd be under $100 or something like that. But I mean, it will give you a first class look at everything. It's like an MRI, folks. A 3D MRI is what you get, because he sent me 17 pages of stuff. I'm going like, holy, and it's
Wow.
really amazing. Yeah, it really is. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do like that to get before you start to get a good foundation, before you make any kind of changes, and make your changes gradually. And if your body will tell you whether or not it's liking the changes, because you'll either start feeling better, having more energy. If you're experiencing that, then continue to do what you're doing in a very gradual process, because whatever your condition is, you didn't get there overnight, and you're not going to get out of it overnight. And I got to tell a funny story about a guy. We sent him a good product, and I use this product. It's fulvic acid, but you only use like a teaspoon of it a day.
Mhm.
And we gave it to him, and we told him to try it. And so about 2 weeks later, I call him up. I say, "Hey, what'd you think of that fulvic acid?" "Oh, stuff's terrible." "What do you mean it's
You have
terrible?"
to drink it.
You just put it into any water or coffee or whatever, and it changes your body to a non-pH, because if your body's a non-pH, you don't have the nutrition in there, because every living thing on planet Earth, be it cancer, arthritis, whatever it is, it's got to have nutrition to survive, and it will fight to survive. That's just the natural law of the way the universe turns.
Mhm.
And I couldn't figure out why he was so growling at me for it. He was really upset. And I'm going like, what'd you do? Take grumpy dog pills with it or what? And I called back there to speak to him. His wife answered his cell phone. And I said, "I'm really disappointed in what he said about the fulvic acid."
Mhm.
She said, "Well, Jim, now this was a bottle that was designed to last it probably about 21 days. He took the bottle in 2 days. Ladies and gentlemen, you
Oh,
can't
no
fix
wonder.
stupid. You can't fix stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, you would think if anybody would get a bottle with directions to go home, if the doctor gave you medication for something you were suffering from, a prescription, and says take
Yeah,
one
you
every
wouldn't just
4
take the
hours,
whole thing.
well, I'll
Oh
take it
my
between today and tomorrow. I'll be well, even though you give me about 20-day supplies here. I mean, you just can't fix stupid. I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel, but I
no.
mean, why would you even come up with that? See, that takes a guy's brain. You ladies out there would say, "Amen on that one, Jim," because I don't know what it is, guys. I mean, sometimes, guys, I'm not trying to be cruel on us,
I'm
but the
still
truth of
I'm
it is,
still trying to figure it out.
yeah, the truth of it is sometimes you've heard of that 50-50-90 rule that applies to guys. That means if a man has a 50-50 shot of doing something right the first time, if he doesn't listen to the wise counsel of his wife or girlfriend or the lady in his life, because some about ladies, they have that special gut feeling, that intuition. They just kind of like recognize truth when they see it. And if
Mhm.
a guy does not listen to the wise advice from the lady in his life, at 50-50 shot of doing something right, at 50-50-90 rule, there's a 90% chance if he ignores you, he's going to goof it up. That's just the way guys are wired. I mean, that's just, and guys, I'm not trying to be hard on us. I'm just trying to say that, you have to listen to good advice all the way around. Don't be a renegade and try to cut your own path and try to run through an oak tree. It's not going to feel good, and you're not going to make it. Okay. And I never will forget that because I thought, who in the world would come up with that? But
I
also
know there's
too,
instructions for a reason.
yeah, we tell them just 1 ounce because that stuff is potent. It looks almost, I mean, it's a heavy liquid. It's got a little bit of a metal taste to it. I'm going like,
Oh,
holy smokes, yeah. I mean,
no wonder he didn't like
yeah,
it.
yeah. He spent a lot of time in one special room of the house. Let me say, a small room of the house. To anyway. Let's get on another topic here. What were you talking about? She's giggling at me now. But, also too, when it comes to life expectancy, I found this here. This is from a website called World O Meters, WORLD. In fact, I'll just copy this right here and I'll put it in the ticker tape there so you can see it and where I got it from and all that. Let me just get here to the ticker tapes here right quick and create a banner. There we go. Boom, chicky boom. Scroll. And from this website right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm reading this from. Oops, clicked on the wrong one. There we go. Life expectancy in the world from 1955 to present. Males and females, both sexes combined. The males are in blue, the females are in gold. But in 1950, let me put it over here. Good grief. Males were like, the life expectancy is like 40. Now, this is on the world level, okay? 45.5, females were at 48.5. That was 1950. In
Wow.
1960, 49.6 for males, 52.9 for females. In 1970, it goes up to 56.2 for males, 60.0 for females. Let's move on to 1980 now. 1980, we got 59.9 for males, 64.4 years of age for the females. Then in 1990, 62.2 for the males, 67 years of age for the females. In the year 2000, 64.8 years for the males, 69.4 years for the females. And in 2010, it went to 68.5 years for the males, 73.3 years for the females. And now in 2020, 70.08 years of age for males, 75.6 years of age for females. And this is the life expectancy in the world. This is on the world, the world average, okay? That's where that comes from. And so therefore, you've got to be able to take care of your physical needs, your life, and you got to make sure you take care of your financial needs. Because a lot of folks are going to outlive their income, and a lot of folks are going to be struggling. So you need to prepare now for both. If you're going to live longer, you might as well live healthier. That's the bottom line.
Right.
In fact, I read somewhere, and I wish that I wrote it down, where they say the person's going to live to be 150. And we've had people that's lived, 100 and something, 120 and all that. But the people who can make it to 150, they're alive today. And I think they're more in Michaela's age group and younger than in my group, because if that's the case, I'm only halfway there. Not even halfway. Yeah, I'm halfway there. But it's really
a long time.
Yeah, 150 years. Yeah. It's going to be, think of all the changes that you see there,
Yeah.
You think about the 20th century, all the changes that we saw, that people alive saw, that was born in the early, say 1900, 1910. I mean, they saw the horse and buggy go away. They saw the car. They saw the airplane. They saw the space shuttle. I mean, not space shuttle, the space program where they put a man on the moon in 1969. I know there's a lot of debate about that, whether they could or not, but we've seen so much. It's, and like one lady, she was born in 1917, I think it was, or 18, somewhere in there. And she says, I never even dreamed that I'd be on the internet and I would have an email address. or a cell phone.
I right?
Think about all those changes. My goodness gracious. And you have to
Just like
be,
experience them too.
yeah, the thing that I'm pointing that out is that you got to make sure your mind is healthy. You
Hmm.
can keep your brain healthy. There are some things that you can do there. Do some research on it because I don't want to quote anything or anything like that because I'm not a doctor or anything of this nature. But there are some things out there you can do that can reverse Alzheimer's. There are some things you can do to be able to heal nerves or not brain cells that are dormant. And by the way, I'm talking right now, I probably need to restore some of my brain cells. But it's really important because if your body's going to be living longer, you might as well, mentally be at home, lights on, and know that you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be, smart alecky or anything. I'm just saying, it's you want to live the best life you can.
Hmm.
You deserve that. That's a gift from the universe because everything in the universe is a vibration. And when you turn on to love, you've just tapped into the abundance of the universe because love is what
Right.
makes this world go round. It really does. And Michaela, how you feel about putting up with me another 50 years? She's my granddaughter. That's why I'm asking.
I'm ready.
You ready? You
I'm
hadn't
so
got
ready.
you hadn't got tired of me yet?
No.
I'll pay you 20
We have
bucks
the
extra.
same sense of humor, so
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. But she did not get her good looks from me. That's a no brainer there. But being a young mom and your lifestyle and all that, what are some of the things that you're learning now about how mothers should take care of themselves? What are some of the things that you've said, because you always put your kids first, that's moms,
mhm.
and you're always wanting to take care of your kids. But what are some of the things that you've kind of like in the back of your mind thinking, I need to take care of myself? Because moms lose sleep. Moms, prepare the
Oh
kids
yeah,
first. Sometimes, let's face it, moms do without just so their
hmm,
kids will not have to do without.
they
And that's,
sacrifice a lot.
yeah, that's on all fronts. When it comes to clothes, shoes, or whatever, moms may say, okay, I don't have enough left to be able to buy me some new shoes or whatever. At least my kids have shoes. That's the
Right.
way that world turns. So but let's talk about the health side of it. What are some of the things that you've kind of like said, hey, I need some time for me, maybe
The
quiet
whole
time.
time. Oh yeah, quiet time is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's definitely every person's different. Some people can't get that full quiet time when they are home, and that's
Mm-hmm.
understandable. But do make an effort. Like my kids have quiet time. They're at the age where they don't have nap. Well, the baby has a nap, but the older ones don't have nap time, but they do have quiet time. And it
Mm-hmm.
isn't just a lot of moms think it's you know I've seen a lot of moms if mom tries to have quiet time, they kind of feel guilty for it because they feel like they're ignoring the kid or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the situation may be. But kids need quiet time. They need a time to settle down because their
Mm-hmm.
brain can be so active and they need that time to settle down. Even if it's not
Mm-hmm.
nap time, they still need, a little time to themselves. So my kids have quiet time. Some days
Mm-hmm.
it's 10 minutes, some days it's 30, some days it's
Mm-hmm.
an hour. But it's something as simple as them looking at a book or doing a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
They don't watch TV. My kids are rarely, well, they're more TV people now, but screen time is very limited. I don't get my kids like screen time, um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just my choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, if your kids are still rowdy, a lot of kids will sit in front of a show. If you have to put on a show for
Mm-hmm.
them, that's fine. Do it. You're not a bad
Mm-hmm.
mom because you're sitting in front of the TV for 30 minutes. I promise. It
Mm-hmm.
is so important to just, even if you're sitting in the closet, you hear moms hiding in the bathroom or crying in the closet because they're just so overwhelmed. Like, if that's what you need to do it. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not a bad mom. Um, Even if that means going and getting coffee for yourself in the morning.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't have
yeah,
to bring the kids. I know
yeah,
every situation's different. Um, but it is possible to have that alone time to yourself and
sure.
uh, also don't feel like you can't get yourself something. You you're a mom, like you're raising those kids, and that's not an easy job. You
Hmm.
deserve something new just as much as they do. I mean, I'm guilty of it too.
Hmm.
My kids have everything that they need and want, and I still struggle with going to the store and getting myself something because I get so
Hmm.
distracted. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store for me this time, and I still can't find anything for myself, but I can come home with a whole bunch of stuff from the kids. But
Hmm.
everyone's different. See, to me, that
Hmm.
makes me happy, making them happy. But I do find time, if it's getting my nails done or whatever, or
Hmm.
ordering out food while they're asleep.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
important. Your mental health is super important because
Hmm.
your kids need you to be mentally and physically there. And if you have
Hmm.
to, see a counselor. There's nothing wrong with that either. Because
Oh
even
yeah.
if you have to see a counselor for how to be a parent, because let me tell you, kids are not easy and every kid is different. I mean, I
Hmm.
can sit here and tell you where I've literally, even if you feel like you're complaining to a counselor, I feel like I've done that before where I'm just like, oh, my kid is so difficult today. Like,
Yeah.
just tell somebody. And if you have to see a counselor, like, do it. They're there to help you.
Yeah.
Because raising kids is not easy. There's not a
Oh yeah.
handbook for it. I'll let you know if I find one. I'm still on the hunt, but
Yeah.
it's not an easy job, and it can put a lot of stress on you
It
too.
really is. When you were talking about that, it reminded me of an old commercial. I think it was. I know it was a lady going to get in the bath, and she's got this, bubbles or whatever you ladies put in your bath there. I just get in the shower
Mhm.
with the soap, a bar of soap, and I'm good to go. But uh, I can't remember the name of the product. Anyway, she named the product as "Take Me Away," and it was just supposed to be a get in there at the bath, and she could have her bubbles and all that, and just really
Mhm.
relax and all that. But one of the things too, and we mentioned this in the pre-broadcast about stress. Stress is something that, it doesn't matter if you're eating from the health food store and you're going
Yep.
to the vitamin store and that's all that you do. You don't stop at some bakery and eat some, bakery goods and all that. You're trying your best, but if you're dealing with stress, stress will just destroy all the good things that you're trying to do for your body because it
Yeah.
just sends out all this negative energy. And it can rob you of your health, it can rob you of your happiness, and it can rob you on all fronts. You can be miserable with yourself. It can make you to where you don't even feel like you love yourself. And that is the very first thing you should do because there's really only two emotions there's fear and there's love. And we're born in a world of survival, but we need to realize that our calling in life is much higher than that. We were born to live in abundance. And I've talked several times here, mentioned several times here on the show about Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. I think I sent that to you, didn't I, Michaela? Didn't
A
I?
while
Or,
ago, I think.
yeah, Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. And he talks about, it's what I like to do sometimes. Every now and then I listen to it. I don't listen to it as often as I should, to be honest with you, but sometimes I'm listening to it. It's on YouTube. It's just a MP3 recording with his picture there. The difference between an MP3 and an MP4. It's got to be converted to an MP4, but you cannot add video to it if it's just an MP3, like a radio recording. That's why you see the solid picture there. So it's called The Strangest Secret. I think it's 32 minutes. I like to put my earbuds on, lie down, close my eyes, and just listen to his words. The strangest secret, because you were born to love yourself, to love others, and live in the world of abundance.
Hmm.
Because that's where, and stress cannot survive in that environment. And what Earl Nightingale teaches you, and when he says it, you know that you know that you know that you know it's true, is that when you call upon the power of the universe, I'm not talking about religion now, but when you call upon the power of the universe, you cannot be denied. And the reason I want to share that because I know there's someone out there somewhere, and I'm not saying that I got a crystal ball or I got a carrier pigeon gave me a message, but I just feel in my heart that there's someone out there that's probably in a very unpleasant situation They're struggling with their health. They're struggling with their life. If you go to YouTube and just listen to Earl Nightingale, Nighttingale, and The Strangest Secret, for just 32 minutes, get off to yourself somewhere. It may be late at night when everybody else is asleep or whatever, but get off to yourself for 30 minutes and treat yourself, because that will help you in your pathway of life, number one. Number two, when you're trying to eat healthy, you've got the inner game already defeated as far as the enemy coming up, because stress is a horrible thing for people to experience and go through and deal with.
Mhm.
It's an enemy that keeps wanting to stab at you, you know. So you need to address that, because that destroys the foundation of your life and your health and your happiness, your everything that you are entitled to. Don't let anybody tell you you're not.
Right.
You are entitled to live in love and abundance. And there's no one that has the right to take that from you. They may think they do, but
It's
they
all in
don't.
your control. Hmm.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And let's see here. We got about what? We got about 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left, huh? Something like that. We've had too
Should I
much.
log in? Should I log into my phone? I have one. It says 1% remaining.
1% remain. No, just stay right here, honey. If you go away, I'll sing a song and finish the. It just says, "Oh, let me get on my phone right away." No, we're okay. We're okay.
It almost
No,
made it. It almost made it.
it almost made it. Huh? You got to go. That little Ash. You ought to see that little guy. He's like, what kind of a dog is he again? He's little.
A Shiba Inu. I think he's a Japanese dog.
Yeah, cute little guy. Cute, 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 cute. But a pain in the derriere, or in the key arcus for us country folks. But I tell you, we just want to give a shout out again, and once again for you folks that are. I've got Donna's website up there. Yeah, she's our producer and host here too. But for you folks that's in business, as we close, this is a free gift. Please, 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 please download that. They're not going to put you on an email list. They're not going to call you up and try to sell you 40 to 11 other items because they're too busy. Okay. This is our gift to you. We worked out a deal with them here at their TV show. Please download the 6-minute webinar, the free trial. And I think we just lost her, but please download that free trial and just select one product and just go through and answer those 40 questions on the Script Pile. That's a little program that Dr. Don McGrath wrote. And when you send it to your email, I promise you, I give you my word, you will go, oh my goodness, this is it. We've had people who's been in business 40 years and they see that going, whoa, the clarity to be able to get their message across to their ideal client. And you can record that video. You can send it out on links. You can post it on social media. And the beauty of it is, ladies and gentlemen, it will not cost you one thin dime. The 6-minute webinar is free. And, putting blogs and posts on Facebook and social media and whatever, it's free too. So treat yourself. You owe yourself that. And I wish you the very best. If there's anything that we can do here at the TV show, all you have to do is, let me find this first. Get in touch with us. Either myself, Donna, this comes into all of us here. Donna Guinois, our producer and host. Michaela Vidal, our host administrator, who just ran out of battery thanks to their dog, Ash. But get in touch with us. And if you have a theme and you'd like to be on our show, please get in touch with us. We'd be glad to talk to you. And because we do theme weeks, we just don't do individual speakers because it's too hard to promote and too hard to get out there because people are liking the theme weeks. And on behalf of Michaela, who's already who died off the vine there with her battery, I'm Jim Grant. We want to thank you so much for tuning in for us again. Our summit will be coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll record all 3 hours of it. We'll put the times in there when the different parties are on, so you can go through and look in the comments and determine, if you want to hear this speaker speak on this particular topic, First day is going to be on education. Second day is going to be on corporate. Third day is going to be on entrepreneurs. They got some high-speed people coming on all those professions. Hope you have a wonderful day. Remember now, love yourself first, then you can love others. And most importantly, I highly recommend to go to YouTube and listen to Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. You will be in for a treat. I give you my word on that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bless you in all areas of your life. Hope you and your family are safe. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back with Dr. George Grant. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.